If you want to learn more about Guam, then here's another Q&A video for you where I go through your questions that you have sent directly to me or have posted on my videos and try to answer them to the best of my ability and knowledge. Just keep in mind that I'm going through questions that I have received in my last Q&A video. So if a question doesn't get asked in this one, it's probably been answered in a previous one. So make sure you check those out too. Are there any poisonous animals that one needs to take wide strides around if found? While there are some poisonous marine life that would be more so found in deeper waters like jellyfish or cone snails, the one that you would have to be most careful about on land is if you encountered a brown tree snake. Now, while these aren't as easily found as people assume, if you were hiking in some of our jungle areas or like booney stomping, you might come across those because that's where they reside most of the time. And they aren't exactly deadly, but they are still venomous. So any bite from them could cause like swelling or an allergic reaction. So it's just one of those things to obviously steer clear from. Is the Wednesday night Chamorro Village Market still going on? Yes, it is. In fact, I actually just did a video recently because it had been a while since I went to the Chamorro Village Wednesday night market, and it's still in full swing. It's just some Wednesdays when, it might be raining, they either might cancel it or there might only be a few vendors that decided to still post up, but that is still going on, and I believe it's from 5 to 8 p.m. or 5 to 7 p.m. I'd want to look it up again. But yes, you can always experience live entertainment there, great food. Again, if it's not raining, a nice clear day. And then of course, because it is right by the Paseo or the Agana Bay, then you can always, grab your food and then post up either by the fishing pier or by the rocks and watch the sunset there. Would you recommend Jigo as a safe place to live? We will be PCS-ing soon and looking at that area. So ever since I started this channel, and then more so once I got my real estate license, I've gotten this question quite a bit, not specifically about Jigo, but just what areas are safe to live? And my answer to all of those is that the word safe, or the idea of safe, is always going to be subjective. It's always going to vary from person to person. For example, like when we were moving to Virginia for 4 years, we had so many people giving us their fair warnings or their opinions about where we should or shouldn't live. Like we had some people say, oh, don't live in Norfolk, don't live in Virginia Beach because the crime rate's really high. What I learned while we were living out there, and I can apply it to here too on Guam, is you can't categorize an entire city as safe or not safe. Same thing with Guam, you can't exactly categorize one whole village as safe and one whole village as not. Like within each village, you're going to have, areas that people say are, they feel safer there, or they don't really like that area within that village. But again, that is all very subjective. Like once upon a time, I was told as a kid, oh, you'll never want to live in Sinahanya because it's ghetto. And now we live in Sinahanya, we absolutely love it here. We've lived here before and have never had any issues. We're surrounded by a lot of family homes. So it really is going to boil down to you seeing that neighborhood or that area in person, or at least like if you were working with a real estate agent, because I've done this for other clients, doing a virtual tour. And so on that note, if you are going to be moving to Guam and you aren't working with a realtor yet, I'd be more than happy to help you. You can shoot me an email at danielleadams.homes@gmail.com, or if you had any other inquiries like the questions I'm answering today, you can also send it to my YouTube email, theislandunicorn@gmail.com. Where are all the hot chicks at and where can I meet them? In all caps. So I'm gonna have to use a cheat here because hot is also going to be subjective and vary person to person. I always recommend just engaging in the activities and hobbies that you would normally do, because I feel like you'd be able to meet people with similar interests that way. Like if you, let's say for example, like if you like doing yoga, so you find this yoga studio that's close to your house, 10 to 1, you're gonna end up kind of meeting people in that same setting, so like, oh, clearly they like yoga, like I like yoga. And I don't know, running into these people more frequently over time gives you more opportunity to like introduce yourself and possibly form a connection. Other examples is like if you were a gym rat, like if you constantly go in the mornings. I'm trying to think of like not related to fitness because I just used 2 different fitness examples. Oh, here we go. Okay, so if you like going to the bars and you like going out on the weekends, going dancing, getting dressed up and whatnot, you're more than likely going to run into the people who you would likely be attracted to, you know, over multiple weekends of going out and stuff like that. I will say though, in my opinion, there is no shortage of hot chicks here on Guam. They are everywhere. I'm just saying, go to the beaches, go to the clubs and bars if that's your thing, go to the gyms, go to the coffee shops, go to the grocery stores. You'll see some hot moms there, okay? Maybe even single moms, you never know. Have you heard of Pacific Island in Guam? So I'm assuming you're referring to the Pacific Islands Club, which is a hotel. And yes, I actually, we went there maybe earlier this year because they have in my opinion, one of the bigger water parks. And so that's a lot of fun, you know, especially if you have kids. It is a little pricey per ticket, but sometimes they do specials throughout the year. But I do know that they have other activities other than just the water park. Like they, you know, especially for like tourist activities, I know they have like sailing. I would look it up, but I know that they have those other activities. We just haven't taken part in those yet. Where are the dog-friendly beaches? There are a few beaches that we personally like taking our pup Max to. One would be the Alupang Beach area. So that would kind of be in, I guess you'd say like between Agana and Tamuning, so East Agana. And it's just a really nice long strip of beach, you know, so you could park at any of the pavilions there and then take your pup down. The other one would be Dunkas Beach, which is in Tamuning, and that's as if you were going down to the Jimmy D's beach bar. That's just like a really large, it's not even just a wide strip of beach and sand, but it's really, I guess like wide and deep, right? But either way, even when you do take your pups out, there is still a leash law, but some of these places are a little more, you know, laid back, and that's all gonna depend on owner to owner. So, you know, if you go to a beach and you see that everybody's got their dog on a leash, it's more than likely like, okay, you know, let's just practice caution. Don't just let your dog run loose, you know, especially if you know that your dog's a little more hyper. Our dog is definitely a hyper. You wouldn't know it just by looking at him, but once he gets to the beach, he's like, boom, you know, like ocean bound. And he's just very friendly, you know, but I know for a fact not all dogs are like that, not all owners are like that. So, you know, just kind of be sensitive to whoever you might be around. But most of the time when we've taken him or my sister, she's brought her dog too, but we've been able to like let them loose and, you know, they've been absolutely fine. Obviously just clean up after your dog. Can you do a video more on Two Lovers Point where people do weddings at? Yeah, I'd be absolutely happy to do a video on Two Lovers Point. My husband and I actually got married there back in 2019, not at the actual site, but it was, I guess it was like the Vista setting off to the side. But it is a historical site. It's kind of tied into a Guam culture legend. But it is a really beautiful cliffside site, so I am always open to getting more beautiful footage of our island. I heard that electricity can be a struggle in Guam. Is this true? If we're talking about just electricity, that will differ, you know, home to home and situation to situation. In general, Guam is going to be a little more expensive than what most people are used to from the mainland. And that's also depending on where you're coming from. You know, are you coming from California? Are you coming from Texas? Are you coming from Arizona? You know, as far as electricity goes, I know I touched on this in another video that power bills range anywhere from $300 to $600. And for one thing, that's going to depend on the square footage of your house. Secondly, that's going to depend also if you are using split ACs versus central air. As of right now, like our house has central air, and I don't really care for it because I feel like we can get our power bill a little lower. I'm not going to disclose just yet how much our power bill is, and I will explain that later. I will say the other thing that I am already foreseeing us doing is getting solar panels, because it is, I mean, come on, you know, it just makes sense in this climate with how much sun we get. It would definitely not go to waste, and I feel like that would alleviate our power bill exponentially. This question. Did the 2 million brown snake problem get fixed with the mass military mouse drops? So I did mention this before, that snakes is probably the most frequently asked question I get on this channel. And I'm not gonna lie, I get so thrown off from it because one, in the 33, 34 plus years that I have lived here, I've only seen 2 snakes and 1 was dead. And like, I'm not even lying, but now that's become like almost an automated message for me because it's like, that's literally all I've seen. I know it's gonna vary, like I mentioned earlier, snakes are more prevalent in the jungles, and maybe I just never lived in areas that were close to the jungles. Maybe that's why I didn't see them much. But on top of that, I just always wonder, like, why do people ask about the snakes? Like, what are people picturing when they research Guam? That it's just, they're slithering everywhere? Like, I was really genuinely confused. So, true story, I was scrolling through YouTube one day. So I see this video about the, pill-fed mice that were dropped here to kill the snakes. And I was like, that was a real thing? I felt so uninformed. So fun thing we're gonna do right now is I'm going to watch it because I did not even watch it. I just saw the thumbnail and I'm actually really curious what actually happened. So let's watch this video.
It happened on Sunday, December 1st, 2013. 2,000 mice rained down from the sky on tiny cardboard parachutes over the island of Guam, the westernmost U.S. territory. The rodents were dropped from helicopters at the lowest possible altitude over the island's forests. Certified specialists inside the helicopters were in charge of the mouse airdrop, releasing them in a specific time sequence. They made sure that each mouse was strapped to 2 pieces of cardboard and some green tissue paper. That's what the mouse parachutes looked like. The paper unfolded into an inverted horseshoe.
Okay, I'm gonna fast forward to how this worked.
To feel the impact. When snakes are young, they only eat small lizards, but that doesn't last too long. Once these predators grow up, reaching up to 10 feet in length, they also hunt rodents and climb trees. There, they ambush birds. They usually eat birds that weigh about 30% of the snake's own body weight. That's kind of like a person swallowing a fat beaver in one gulp.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any actual footage of like when this happened, but I get the gist. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you would say it was successful. It was a successful mission because I really don't see snakes here like at all. Watch, I'm gonna jinx myself, and today I'm gonna walk out and there's gonna be a snake on my driveway. I just know it. When you post videos driving around Guam, I've not seen motorcycles or scooters. Why have locals chosen not to use 2-wheelers? You know, it's actually kind of funny because when I saw this question, I did go back through a lot of my B-roll where I'm like driving around Guam, and I said, oh wow, I guess I never captured somebody on a motorcycle or a moped. But yeah, no, people do drive them around here. I just don't see it very often either. A girlfriend of mine, like she used to drive her moped from work, from home to work, if that was all she was doing. But she still had a car, for other activities, like if she needed to go grocery shopping or anything else. But my guess, and I guess maybe this would be me personally, my guess is that I wouldn't bother with a moped or a motorcycle only because, it's rain or shine here, and if I'm on my way to work, I can't take that chance, that I might get rained on. And then speaking a little more realistically, it is hot here some days. So I'm thinking comfortability wise, but again, I'm a little like prissy in that sense. Somebody else who might not even care, they don't care if they're sweaty or wherever they're going. Like if you're just gonna go to the beach where you're gonna get sweaty anyway, maybe you drive your motorcycle or your moped there. But I just think that might be more of like a personal choice. Is it hard to find jobs there? What is your advice to new residents who come to Guam? Honestly, this is going to depend on what industry you're looking into, as well as your work experience. I've pitched, joining the Guam Jobs group on Facebook, as well as checking out guamjobsonline.com. There are constantly, job listings getting posted there. But again, that might not be the job that, you specialize in, or it might require, previous education or, whatever the case. Don't lose hope, if you really, really want it, go for it. Don't let things stand in your way. I will say though, huge piece of advice is do not move here unless you have a job secured. Because if you're hoping to move here and let's just, we'll let the cards fall as they may, you're really taking a huge gamble, So, and especially if you have a family too, don't do that. Don't move your whole family here and nobody has a job secured here. Do that before even relocating. Was hoping to get your advice on where to find the best deals for basic groceries like eggs, bread, and canned goods. So I'm excited about this because I love grocery shopping and I love grocery shopping at different stores. So I am actually working on a video covering all the different grocery stores on Guam and letting you know what's good for what, if that makes sense. Because really, a lot of people are under the assumption that, if you're a military family, you have it really lucky because everything's cheap on base, but it's not really the case. It's only specific things that are cheap. And I'm honestly, I have stepped away from certain things at the commissary and bought them out in town because they're cheaper out in town. So it's really, like I said, I'm just a grocery geek when it comes to that. So I kind of track, I track things like that. But speaking of tracking, I am also tracking our expenses for the past several months because another video that I'm working on is the cost of living here. So that's why I said I didn't want to let you know what our power bill is just yet because I will reveal that in that video. So I'm tracking our expenses like, utilities, cars, vehicle related stuff, business expenses, groceries, that's all going to go into that video because I feel like that's another very highly requested topic. And which I am more than happy to do, because if it'll give somebody a better idea of what their cost would be like moving here, that way it's not like a huge culture shock or area shock, then I am more than happy to provide that to you. I do apologize for the delay in getting this video out. I meant to, try to post this about a month ago, but I've just been so busy since I got my real estate license. But it's in a good way, good busy. But of course, I just never want to neglect this channel. So thank you so much for watching till the end. And of course, if you have any other questions or any comments, make sure you leave them below or shoot me an email. And I will see you all in the next video. Adios.